A very good morning. You're joining us on this Thursday's edition of the Breakfast Rundown. Well, I'm Mariam Gunevijaya, not your usual host bringing you the news every morning. Well, I'm taking over from Theruni for just today. So before we head on to all of the news in detail, let me give you a quick update on what we are going to bring to you, the most important stories that we believe you should know before you get on with the day. Well, of course, yesterday was quite a hectic day. We brought you a story from the court complex, a shooting incident that happened. We have details of that. We have a big international summit happening in Sri Lanka today that will kick off. We have stories and details of that story as well. And of course, stories that matter to you from the local and international fronts. Getting on with the details of these stories, like I said yesterday, there was a shooting that happened at a court complex in Sri Lanka that led to the death of a crime boss in the country, and the Ministry of Public Security has been following up on this story. Just a couple of hours after the incident occurred, of course, the police were able to apprehend the main suspect behind this shooting incident that happened, and the Ministry of Public Affairs has now said that efforts are being made to conduct trials involving crime gang leaders or criminals involved in organized crimes outside of the court. Now, the Minister of Public Security, that is Anantha Vijaypala, says that key discussions on the matter is in fact taking place with the Ministry of Justice, that is under Minister Harshana Nanakara. Well, yesterday, like I said, the shooting inside the number 5 magistrate courtroom at the Hofstorp Court Complex in Colombo resulted in the death of organized criminal Sanjeeva Kumara Samaratna, alias Ganemulla Sanjeeva. Well, Minister Vijaypala confirmed that security personnel were present at the scene. However, he said that officers are not permitted to use firearms within court complex as it is procedure. At the same time, security personnel are also not usually seen searching lawyers who enter the court complex. He also explained that he said that security personnel do not search those who are entering the court complex, and however, at the same time, he assured that measures will be introduced in the future to improve the process of screening individuals entering the court complex. And this is also why the Public Security Ministry is holding key discussions to see the possibility of holding these trials outside the court complex. Well, like I said, authorities were able to catch the main suspect who fled the scene right after the shooting took place. Just a couple of hours after the incident happened, the shooting took place early in the morning at the court complex, and by around 7 p.m. last night, the police had already been able to locate the main suspect and apprehend him. And at the same time, the Department of Prisons has launched a special investigation into the shooting as well, and the preliminary investigations are being conducted by the Colombo Remand Prison. Well, last night we brought to you a comprehensive report by Joad Abdin. He was able to present to you the details of how exactly the shooting happened, what it looked like when the main suspect entered the area, the court complex premises, and if there was an associate supporting him at the time as well. And like I said, the suspect was arrested. That was in Palavia in Putlam by the Special Task Force officers, and he is currently in the custody of the Colombo Crimes Division. But the police have also launched investigations to locate another person, and this was confirmed by the police spokesperson SSP Buddhika Manathuga. They said that there was another woman involved in the crime, and she has been identified, and efforts are ongoing to locate her. Well, that is a quick update on what is happening with regard to the shooting that took place at the court complex yesterday. You should stay tuned to us, and we will bring you the latest updates on this story on our social media platforms, and of course our SMS alerts, just like we did yesterday. Well, another key significant factor that took place this week is the 2025 budget. President Andrew Kumar Dissanayake was able to deliver the budget speech in Parliament early this week on Monday. That was the second reading of the appropriation bill, and right after that, the debate on the second reading began. So today is day 3 of the second reading of the budget for 2025. When President Andrew Kumar Dissanayake delivered the budget speech in Parliament on Monday, he mentioned the key changes that will take place in the country to ensure that Sri Lanka is moving towards recovery. The government expenditure stood at about 4.2 trillion rupees, and that was a significant reduction compared to the 6.9 million of the 2024 budget from the previous government. And now the debate is taking place for this 2025 budget. It will be held for 7 days. It started on the 18th of February, that was Tuesday, and it will go on until the 25th of February. And then the committee stage debate on the appropriation bill is scheduled to be held for 19 days, including 4 Saturdays from the 27th of February to the 21st of March. And then the vote on the third reading of the appropriation bill is scheduled for the 21st of March at 6 p.m. Well, when the bulletin began, I mentioned about a big international summit that is happening in the country, and that is the Innovation Island Summit. This summit that kicks off in just a couple of hours, that will be happening today and tomorrow as well, will bring together representatives and key figures from 50 countries across the world. And there will be about 150 distinguished participants who will be joining us, including diplomats, ambassadors, high commissioners, and the list, it just goes on. So the Innovation Island Summit will explore the transformative dynamics of island nations, the innovations emerging from these countries, and their impact on the global stage. That is you and me as well. So the ministers, parliamentarians, senior officials who will be joining us will be talking about innovation. There will be special lectures happening, and of course the keynote address will be delivered by President Andrew Kumar Dissanayake, who will be joining us. And not just him, there will be other top officials from the government joining us as well, including the Prime Minister Dr. Harinam Surya. Then we also have Minister Vijay Herath, who will be speaking at this 2-day summit. And of course Amitabh Kant, he is the India's G20 Sherpa and the creator of Incredible India campaign, if you have heard of that, who will be joining us. Just yesterday, a representative from Newsfirst, Jama Ratnayaka, was able to sit down with Amitabh Kant and speak to him about a little bit of an idea of what he will be delivering at this Innovation Island Summit that we should be able to take a look at if we have the footage.
What are the policies you think are best for us to implement, to put in place to ensure that our cultural and environmental sustainability is preserved while Sri Lanka is positioned as a mass tourist destination?
So first of all, I would say that Sri Lanka is a unique product. It should never look at the numbers game. And to say that I'm going to get 3 million tourists is a wrong strategy. Secondly, it never position yourself as a mass destination. Position Sri Lanka as an upmarket, high-value tourism destination. Target yourself for the upmarket clientele, which is going to spend a lot of big dollars in Sri Lanka. As a consequence of that, you will get the aspirational class also into Sri Lanka, which will come in and spend. Your product is very, very different from the rest of the world. You should differentiate Sri Lanka from anything else in the world. And that is what Sri Lanka has. You know, your heritage, your culture, your cuisine, a range of your products are very different. Your architecture is different, your culture is different, your art forms are different. And therefore, you should not ape the West. You should not ape America. You should not ape even India. You should just say that you're very, very different. The differentiation of your product should take you up the value chain. Your rooms should not sell for anything less than $500 to $1,000 to my mind.
Well, that is just one clip from the interview that took place with Amitabh Kant. You can, of course, watch several other clips, highlights of the interview on our Newsfirst YouTube, Facebook, and other social media platforms, including Instagram. So, just like I said, the 2-day summit will kick off today. It will be happening tomorrow as well. And we will have 50 representatives from 50 countries coming in together to join us to talk about innovation and so much more. Well, moving on. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Maldives is in Sri Lanka at the moment. Minister Abdullah Khalil, he is in Sri Lanka on an official visit on an invitation that was extended by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism of Sri Lanka, that is Vijitha Herath. And just yesterday, they held a press conference regarding the developments, the bilateral discussions, the key talks that were held between Minister Abdullah Khalil and other top government officials in Sri Lanka. So let's take a look at what the two ministers discussed at this joint media briefing in Colombo.
With a view to strengthening investment partnerships through joint ventures, I invited investments from Maldives to diverse sectors. We discussed extensively on deepening cooperation in the aviation sector, especially on enhancing air connectivity. On employment sector cooperation, I appreciated Maldives' commitment in providing employment opportunities for Sri Lankans and expressed hope that we could identify the ways and means to diversify the employment opportunities for Sri Lankans in Maldives. I also requested the Maldives side to consider the possibility of using the Maldivian rupiah and Sri Lankan rupee for cross-border transactions by the Sri Lankan workforce for the benefit of our migrant workers in Maldives. We discussed matters of mutual cooperation to attract more tourists to our countries, also keeping in mind Sri Lanka's target of 3 million tourist arrivals this year. Both our countries being Indian Ocean littoral states, we discussed the need to collaborate in the fisheries sector. We shared views on the provision of transit passage for Sri Lankan fishing vessels for smooth access to the Arabian Sea and further means of cooperation. Sri Lanka is pleased to continue its assistance in enhancing the defense sector capabilities in Maldives through provision of training to the Maldivian National Defense Force personnel. We discussed on means of further collaboration in the defense sector.
As two countries surrounded by the ocean, in fact a large ocean, maritime security is of utmost importance to us. We agreed to work together closely to combat illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing in our respective EEZs. The Maldives is pleased to offer transfer of knowledge on sustainable pole and line fishing, fish processing and value-added products to the Sri Lankan fisheries sector. Maldives and Sri Lanka as small island states have common concerns and challenges when it comes to the issue of environment and climate change. Our countries contribute the least towards global emissions, but we are disproportionately impacted. Addressing climate change is vital for our survival. The Maldives and Sri Lanka have always supported each other in regional and multilateral forums. I commended the exemplary leadership and achievements of Sri Lanka as the current chair of IORA. Mr. Herath and I reaffirmed to work together for sustainable development, peace, security and prosperity of the South Asia region through regional platforms such as IORA and others.
Well, we're still in local news. We're going to take a quick update on what the weather will be like today. So the Met Department says that showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the Galle, Mathura, Kalutara and Ratnapura districts towards evening or night, and mainly dry weather will prevail elsewhere. In the meantime, the heat index, that is the temperature felt on human body, is expected to increase up to caution level at some places in the northern, north central, northwestern, western, eastern and southern provinces. Now, the heat index forecast is calculated by using relatively humidity and maximum temperature, and this is the condition that is felt on your body, and this is derived by the Met Department and of course set against world standards. Now, according to Met Department, what they're saying is you have to stay hydrated and to take breaks in the shade as often as possible. Check up on elderly and the sick indoors. Never leave children unattended. Limit strenuous outdoor activities. Find shade and stay hydrated. And of course, wear lightweight or light colored outfits during times like this. And before we wrap up, we have some developments coming in from the international front as well. Well, US President Donald Trump is expected to sign an executive order eliminating federal taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. According to reports that we've seen on international media platforms, the order will direct all federal agencies to identify all federally funded programs currently providing any financial benefits to illegal immigrants and take corrective actions. And the order is intended to ensure that any federal funds to states and localities will not be used to support sanctuary policies or assist illegal immigration. According to reports, it will also mandate improvements in eligibility verification to prevent federal benefits from going to anyone in the US illegally. And the House Homeland Security Committee estimated that taxpayers could pay as much as $451 billion to care for illegal immigrants and gotaways that have entered the US unlawfully since January 2021. And with that, we've wrapped up and given you a full brief on all of the local and international stories that we believe you must be updated on before you get on with the day. So for more updates on this, you can of course check our social media platforms and the SMS alerts that you can subscribe onto. So thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again, same place, same time tomorrow.